What's up, guys? It's Cardstockz back with a new setup for you guys. Starting a new series here called Type 1 Time, where we discuss Type 1 original photos and I show off some of my photos that I've purchased or come across. And we discuss topics about original photos. Not a lot of content out there about this topic, so I'm happy to provide. Today, we're going to be taking a look at two of my James Naismith original photographs, the inventor of basketball. We just had the anniversary of basketball just the other day, the invention of basketball. So I thought, what better time to show off these photos than now? So let's get right into it. We're going to start off with my most recent Naismith purchase here, which is this photo. This photo displays Dr. James Naismith at his alma mater of Kansas. That is where he taught as a professor. We've got, I believe, the president of the university here, and Mrs. Naismith as well, of course. Dr. Naismith couldn't have gotten it done without his first lady, for sure. So let's take a look at the front of this photograph here. We've got a nice glossy finish. Obviously, the texture is a little warped. This is a very old photo. We'll see on the back just how old it is in just a second. As you can see on the bottom of the photo here, we've got a little bit of cropping. Looks as though maybe somebody cut the other sides of the crop off, judging by the cut on this top line, and especially this top right corner. You can see almost an indentation where especially on this right side, where someone cut in towards the photo instead of straight. That'll happen. Not a lot of people can be perfect with scissors, myself included. Okay, so we've looked at the subject of the photo here, Dr. Naismith, his wife, and the president of Kansas. And now we're going to take a look at the back of the photograph to get more information on the photo itself. So we flip it over here, and as you can see, there's actually quite a bit going on here on this back page. Ignore this red sticker. That's a modern addition. Somebody had it in their collection before it came to me. So obviously they had to inventory it somehow, and it looks like colored stickers with numbers was the way that they decided to do that. No problem with that. Just adds to the history of the photograph, in my opinion. Of course, when you get so much of that happening, website names, barcodes, and things like that, it can be a little bit disheartening. But as far as I'm concerned, a colored sticker isn't really going to affect anything about the photograph other than telling you the advanced history of it. So I actually appreciate it being on there. So as you can see here, we've got a few newspaper clippings that correspond with this photograph. If you see a newspaper clipping on the back of an original photo, most likely that means that this photo was used in that article or alongside that article as just a photograph to accompany the text. So if we're looking here, we can see that there's 1, 2, 3 distinct clippings here. This one is actually severed, looks like it was a double-paged article. What we're looking at after spotting these clippings is we're looking for dates that the publication actually used the photo and put out these articles. So as you can see right here on the first clipping, we've got November 28th, 1939. Date stamps like this are very common. Most of the time they're going to tell you when this publication actually published the article in question. So when we're looking at this Dr. James Naismith, basketball's father is dead. I mean, it's too bad. Is date stamped to November 28th, 1939. That is the date that it was published. So, taking a second look here at our next clipping in Overland Park, Kansas. Dr. James Naismith, the father of basketball, and Mrs. Naismith are shown as they received the Emeritus of Physical Education at the University of Kansas. Very interesting here. So we've got another date stamp here, June 18th, 1939. So that tells us that this article was published in June of 1939. And actually, we've got some more DNA here in a circle around the subjects of the photograph, Dr. James Naismith and Mrs. Naismith. So that is also some more DNA telling us what we're supposed to be looking for in this photo. Very useful. Third clipping, as we're looking here, has another date stamp down at the bottom here with some pen DNA. Looks like they must have messed up the publication date, November 21st, 1958. So this is the latest use of this photo in publication as far as this copy is concerned. So we're looking here, and it looks like just an article regarding the invention of basketball and the YMCA, early days of the YMCA, Young Men's Christian, what is it? Association? Young Men's Christian Association, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So it's hard to make a determination on a photograph like this that is so close to the subject's passing. Dr. Naismith passed in late 1939, so seeing as we have a June 18th, 1939 date stamp here, I'm not sure whether to classify this as a type 1 or type 3 photograph. Judging by the quality of the photo on the front and all the given factors shown here on the front of the image, including the contrast, highlights, and of course the actual quality of the image itself, it's hard to say whether this is a type 1 or a type 3. I would lean towards type 1 just because of the finish and the DNA on the back, but we can't be sure truly. Next, I'm going to show you an example of a photograph that is definitely a type 3 of James Naismith, and we'll be able to see the differences. Always make sure to package and inventory your photos in a safe manner. Sleeve them up with cardboard inserts. You can keep them in a binder. Nothing wrong with keeping photographs in a binder. Of course, they are meant to be inventoried in a way and organized in a way that was sporadic and damaged the photos regularly. So your photos might come to you damaged already, but you don't want to further decrease the quality of the photograph. So keeping them in a moisture and heat controlled area inside of a binder with proper protection is the way to go. Let's move on to our next photograph here. This is a more distinct portrait shot of James Naismith. As you can see here, just one subject depicted, and that is Dr. James Naismith himself. Very iconic portrait photograph of him. There are more iconic shots of him, but this is definitely up there with some of the best of his portrait shots. So we're pointing out on the front of the photograph here. As you can see, hopefully you can, the actual quality of the image on this photograph, you can see blurring around the outside of the subject, less crisp defined lines and highlights. That should tell you that you are looking at a reproduction photograph, not necessarily the first type 1 copy. So when we go to the back of this photograph, we'll be able to confirm those thoughts and speculations with a little bit of the DNA that we can recover. So we're pointing out again here is a sticker that is from a modern inventory system of one of the sellers that I bought this from on eBay. Not egregious whatsoever. So again, proper, no websites, barcodes, things like that really throw off the piece. So what we're looking at here is a few pieces of DNA, some writing and a stamp. The first writing is going to be Sports AM Union. First call, which is the first column. This is a main piece in this news article. James Naismith, the name of the subject down here at the bottom, and we have a date of 11/28/1939. This 42, who knows what that means? Could be any number of things, from inventorying and organizing to the number of photos being sent to a certain publication. No way of really knowing what that's supposed to mean, but we can definitely get some good information from these writing pieces here. You can also see here is a Wide World Photos ink stamp. Wide World Photos was one of the largest collections and photo organizations back in the day. As you can see here, this is one of their stamps that they would use in order to signify that this is a photo that was taken by Wide World Photos and owned and copyrighted by them as well. So the reason that we are looking at this as a Type 3 photo most definitely is because of the date given as it corresponds to the subject in the photo. So with a photo like this, where we're not really sure of how it was produced before or after the passing of the subject, with this photo we can be sure that this is this was published in an article after the passing of Dr. James Naismith. Obviously, they're not taking portrait shots of him post his death, so this is a photo from before then, and judging by the fact that it has not been used in other publications, at least this copy of the photograph, judging by the single date, we can determine that this is a Type 3 photo that was reprinted from the Type 1 original in order to produce this article about the passing of James Naismith in 1939. As you can see, taking a look at both of the photographs together, you can see the more distinct and crisp highlights and lines along the subjects in this picture here, indicating that it is an original photograph compared to the lines and edges and blurring in this photograph and diminished quality, hence the Type 3 classification. So thank you all for watching this video on my James Naismith photographs. I'm hoping to get more videos for you guys really soon, more in-depth information on original photos so that everybody can go out and start their collection. I appreciate you all watching, and I will see you guys next time.